what's up, everybody? Gene Fetty here for the All Access Podcast now from Dent Repair Now. Join me on this replay episode from the old Institute channel with my good friend Keith Cosentino. We're going to talk glue pulling and give you some great tips. Enjoy the show. Before we let you get into the podcast episode, I just want to say a quick note. In there, we were obviously talking about the Institute and giving you links and calls to action. Anything you need to find Institute related is now available at dentrepairnow.com/institute. If you can't find it, you can get in touch with me from there. But anyways, that website is where you need to go. Back to the show.
I'm Keith Cosentino. He is Gene Fetty, and this is the PDR College Podcast, the #1 podcast for anyone listening to podcasts, especially if they like dent repair. We are here without Shane. Once again, he is banished into exile. He's going to have to earn his way back onto the show. We'll see if he's able to do it. But today we're doing all glue pulling with the man, Gene Fetty. And Gene, you've been a podcasting savage on your own for the last few months, right?
Yes, this is actually Welcome to the All Access Podcast from the Automotive Appearance Institute. And this is episode number 20. So yeah, we're 20 episodes into this new show. And Keith, you were responsible for my original podcast, the PDR Marketing Minute, however many years ago that was. Like, that's what started me down there, and I was excited to get back behind the mic. And
Marketing Minute was a quality program. This right now that we're doing kind of strikes me as like the PERT Plus of podcasts. It's two in one.
It kind of is. That's right. It's like an all-in-one body wash.
Which one of my favorite comedians, Mitch Hedberg, says it's a BS term, man, 2 in 1. 2 doesn't fit in 1. That's right. Why 2 was invented.
I love Mitch. That dude is so funny. His humor is spot on. It is great. So anyways, it's great to be back on the mic with you, and it's super cool to get to do a dual show, PDR College and All Access. And I promise, me and Keith have been talking for like 45 minutes, and there's not been any background sound at all. And now your guy's back there knocking down.
It is a real life working dent repair shop here. It's not just a studio in Hollywood like it looks.
Well, listen, all the time I reference the wall over here. And actually, my thing's mirrored, but because there's plenty of times where we've got real working dent shop on the other side of the studio wall, and sadly, it is not soundproofed. But what are you going to do?
No.
Yeah.
No, in fact, I might have told this story before. When I first started my podcast, one of my best buddies since we were little kids, he has a doctorate in acoustical engineering. Right, so not like doing mixing boards, but like the actual study of acoustics and how they operate inside of our world.
Making it work.
So I'm like, Marty, I finally need you. I'm building a podcast studio in an office. How can I make it soundproof? He's like, oh, okay. You can't. I'm like, come on, man. You went to school in Sweden. You're like working in New York City, consulting on the construction of nightclubs that are on top of libraries. Like, that's all you got for me is I can't? He's like, well, what's your budget? I'm like, $900. He's like, all right, just get a really, really thick blanket and put it over you and the microphone. I'm like, this is the worst advice I've gotten from anybody. But he's like, he wasn't even joking. He's like, it's basically impossible unless you build the room from scratch. He's like, you need to isolate air and vibration, and you can't tear that thing apart far enough to isolate. You would need like a 1-inch thick rubber mat that encapsulates the entire environment. And then you need to seal every air source off so nothing can come in or out. He's like, then you'll get closer. I'm like, what if I got those foam things from Amazon? He's like, if you like the way they look, you should get them. I'm like, do they do anything? He's like, they don't do anything. Like, oh, man.
Well, they do something. So we had all kinds of the ceilings in here are like literally 20 feet tall. Horrible design on the building that was so echoey in this space and in the office. You couldn't even have a conversation. So I bought garbage bags full of these things off of somebody closing a studio, and they are all around the wall of the room. And then there's a garage door right there. I have big moving blankets up on there just to get the audio to an acceptable level. So,
according to Marty, it's the blankets that are doing all the work.
Hey, well, that's why I bought the good blankets.
So I wouldn't let him go, and eventually he said, "Okay, like I put a door seal on the door so no air can get around the door seal, especially if it's big. That'll help a little bit." All right. So that's what I did. I got foam for the walls to make me feel better, and a gasket for the door, and it did actually help a little bit. But in this office, it's a warehouse with just an office built in the back, so the ceiling is just acoustic tiles.
Yep.
With no actual ceiling above it. So we're essentially in the same room as the shop.
Yep.
With drywall facade in front of us.
And acoustic panels that actually don't acoustic anything. I'm not sure what they do.
They amplify it, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yes, I feel it. So anyways, so this show came about. I got some new tools in the mail from Keith the other day. And we were sort of chatting back and forth, made a little post on Instagram. And I was like, hey, what? You want to do a PDR college show on like glue pull and tool innovation? And Keith was like, sure, let's do it.
Yes, I do.
So after we both went through long days, we are now back in the studio and here to talk some innovation and new tools and glue pull and all of that fun stuff. Now, for you young bucks listening to this show that maybe don't know who Keith is or where he came from, Keith started Black Plague. What's it got to be, Keith, 10, 12 years ago, maybe more?
Yeah, 2013.
13, so 13, 12? My math is bad.
12
years ago. Yeah, so 12 years ago, and it started coming out with these Black Plague crease tabs, these big black things, and it was dead rat tabs. And I remember you going to MTE and sort of flyering everywhere. I think you got in trouble for that.
I didn't really get in trouble, but you don't know what you don't know. I was just some dent repair guy who made a different tool.
Yeah.
Like, well, I got to show this to people. Well, where are they? Well, they're at this trade show. But I don't have a whole business. I just have a tool that I made. So
Right,
I'll
just
just bring a bunch of
tabs.
flyers and show them to people at the show.
Right?
Turns out there's a whole term for that. It's called suitcasing a trade show.
Yeah.
I'm like, they're like, you're suitcasing. I'm like, I don't know what that means, but I did bring a suitcase.
It had clothes in it and some tabs. Yes.
So I don't feel bad anymore because I've spent lots of money supporting MTE since that, but I was definitely suitcasing the trade show at that point.
Right.
But yeah, we just had okay, so for the guys who have started PDR in 10 years or fewer, there used to be a time when there wasn't any tabs for creases.
Right. Isn't that
Can you
crazy?
believe that?
Yeah.
Because we were just believing that tabs could work, period. For round dents.
Yeah, that also is accurate, right? We're early into the evolution of tabs that didn't suck, or glue pulling that didn't suck.
The stuff that was out was Worth, which actually was way ahead of its time. It's worked longer than it should have.
Yeah.
Titty Tabs, which is embarrassing for me to say as an industry, was a brand, but it is, I guess.
I think it still is, maybe.
Kiko had just started making tabs at the request of Sid from Dentcraft. And there was one other one. What was it?
Was it Blem? Did Blem have tabs yet?
I think so. Right around that time, Blem had some tabs.
And then would that be pre-Atlas? Or where was Atlas? Did Atlas come in after Black Plague?
Great question. I don't know. It was either a little bit I think it was a little bit before.
Yeah, the glue pull history timeline is a little sketchy.
Yeah. But it was after Blem because his crease tab was styled after the Blem crease tab.
Okay. Yep. Yeah, you're right. Yes.
But stuff was just starting to work, and I was doing a lot of glue pulling finally, and there wasn't anything to pull a crease out. So I'm like, man, why can't I make a tab that can do a whole crease in one shot instead of a bunch of round tabs? And that was the Black Plague crease tabs, and they worked really great. And they kind of started the evolution of crease tabs.
And even
I think those were ahead of their time a little bit, to be honest with you.
I would even say the evolution of large tabs as well. I can remember. I don't remember. Was that a second build where you came out with the big, like, were they maybe 4 or 5
They were
inch,
6 inches. The big
6
ones.
inch tabs? And I remember. I don't know why it stuck with me. Joel Mathis put a video out where he had one like stuck on a door and it was pulling and it would not come off. It just had so much bite. I feel like that may have been one of the really first large tabs that grabbed traction, right? I don't know when Kiko's super tabs came out, but I
They
feel
were
like
around. I don't want to say that mine were first because they were around the same time.
yeah,
But at that time, nobody. Yeah, the super tabs used to have a football, the golf ball pattern.
golf ball pattern, football shape. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, and nobody quite knew what to do with them. They were ahead of their time a little bit too.
Exactly.
So, like, we had the big tab, but we didn't really have the knowledge on what to do with it.
Well, really, Bryce Kelly was out doing dents, but he wasn't famous yet. Like the only smash guy making waves was Sal, and I don't even know if he believed in glue pulling. He may still not believe in glue pulling.
No, he has his own glue tabs now.
Oh yeah,
yeah. They're called the steel tabs, and I always like to tell him when I see him, which isn't often, that my favorite part about the steel tabs is the plastic part.
Yeah,
that you glue on the car.
Right.
Sal and I have been busting each other's chops for a long time.
That's awesome.
But he's a great guy.
But really, like Big Smash wasn't a big thing back in the day. We hadn't figured out pricing. Certainly the glue pull tools that are available today just weren't here. Like it was, and it just didn't happen. Yeah.
I think Kaz was doing it, and we didn't understand it.
Well, that was maybe even when Kaz wasn't even hardly speaking English, and those cryptic before and after videos would show up on Dording.com.
Exactly. He wasn't showing the process. So he was doing it, but he wasn't showing it.
Yeah.
Because he did a rolled over car, and the whole rail was smashed.
Right.
And he fixed it, and we didn't know. We thought it was fake because we didn't know how you could possibly do that.
Right.
Now I know he was large format glue pulling.
Okay.
And just pulling that entire rail to the moon and then sculpting it back down. But we had never seen that.
Right.
So to us, it was impossible.
Yeah. Well, and I think Jonathan, from, of Kiko era, Vanden Fontaine, I probably butcher your last name every time I say it, Jonathan. I'm sorry. You'll have to correct me at MTE. But I think that's how him and Chris got together. Is Jonathan was a body man back in the day, turned PDR tech, and saw the super tabs and started doing large pulls. And then Kiko went to the Germany show or something, and Jonathan came over to buy a bunch of tabs, and Chris stopped him, and he's like, nobody buys these when you're buying all of them. And that was, what are you doing? And he's like, well, we're making big pulls and hooking up to frame machines. And that's the next step in the evolution of large dent repair. But I really believe that those big 6-inch Black Plague tabs were the first ones that really caught traction for moving large damage.
Yeah, I remember a lot of people, they would hold them up and say, what am I supposed to do with this? Mm-hmm. What is this for?
Right.
Like, well, it's like a large area. You want to pull up like the bottom of a quarter panel. They're like, oh.
Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, just ahead of your time.
Yeah, and there's not many left in circulation. We haven't made a run of them because, just in transparency, the sales were not that great on them. So they got put on ice, and we were talking about bringing them back, but the quantity we needed to bring them back at a competitive price point was higher than what I think we would sell. So there's still...
And sort of a complex tab, right? Because you had a brass insert in an injection mold with a screw threaded into the insert. Like, that's just a labor-intensive piece.
3 inserts. So, like, for every time that...
That's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah, somebody had to drop 12 different pieces of brass inside of it and close it again. So, not a cheap tab to make.
Yeah. But a good
if
tab.
What I need to do is convince Temu that we're selling 100,000 of them, and then they'll make it for like $4.
I get it super cheap. I like it.
What's your take on all that, Gene? Temo's starting to rip off all the legitimate tools. I knew this day was coming where their tools would get good enough to use.
Yeah. So you know what?
Getting there now.
I think manufacturing in the U.S. is difficult and expensive, right? So you must have to go overseas to be profitable. But I think it was this summer where I was at dinner with Carl Stuckey, and we were talking about some of this, and he has that, it's like a hand protector leverage tool.
They knocked him off in like 7 minutes. His was still warm out of the mold.
Yes, and the first knockoffs had the Stuckey logo in them. Like, they got his file, whatever kind of file you send to the manufacturer, they got his file and started knocking it off. So I stand a pretty hard line on this, and I'm really like a pretty easygoing guy. In our cottage industry, I will not support knockoff tools. One, because I'm like personal friends with most of the manufacturers and tool companies here in this space. Two, it stifles innovation. When you think, oh man, I'm going to go buy this. I'm going to go buy the Temu Robo for, $20 and not the real Robo for 150. You stifle innovation because it's expensive to prototype and design and build here and then bring it to market. And then you're not going to sell 100,000 of these in a year, right? You may not sell 100,000 of these ever.
Lifetime.
Ever. Where with, not that it makes it any better, but like where with big box tools or like a ratchet, a 3/8 inch ratchet set or socket set, you could sell millions of those, right? So not that it makes the innovator any less innovative, but they have the room to be knocked off and re-innovated. Whereas in our cottage space, I won't stand for it. I won't do it. There's been parts of me that want to order like the cheap Amazon kits and cheap Temu kits and test them out. But I don't want to make them look good at all. And I wouldn't do them dirty intentionally. So I would just rather not buy them and stick with the brands that support our industry and the innovation.
Yeah, I buy them because I want to keep track on what they're doing. I want to see, what level. I've been buying them for years just to look at them and see how far away are they from catching up. And they're pretty close to catching up with what we already have made. The problem is, like you said, they don't innovate with anything new. They just copy what's already made.
Yep.
And that's a tough pill for consumers to swallow, that, hey, if you buy this cheap stuff, which will benefit you greatly in the short term.
Yes.
In 5 years, the guys who came up with these ideas will no longer come up with ideas. Right? They're like, well, that's 5 years from now, and I don't care because I'm just starting this out.
Right.
And I can get an entire set for $99, and you guys want $10,000.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I understand. I can see both sides. I remember like trying to bend my own tools back in the day, right? Because I'm like, I don't have $60 for a rod. Like I can just go to Harbor Freight and buy a bender and bend my own tool. Foolish in hindsight, but like I get it. But on the flip side, if you shop around and you don't turn into like just a tool junkie, you can buy great tools. Even, in fact, I just shot a course today on knockdown technique, available soon. In fact, probably available before this episode drops. So go check out our new course on knocking down. But like on the Anson website, dude, you can get a knockdown for $11. The old Delrin, like we started out with. And you can buy a Vaughn hammer for $20. So you can start knocking down for $30. Or you can buy, it was like the Bomber knockdown and a Peak set, and that hammer, and still be under $100 and have tools that will literally last you until you lose them or drive over them with a car. So, support the companies that support us and support the innovation is my, that is a hard line in the sand for me.
Yeah. I don't know what to do with them. They're not going away. The tools are getting better. People are going to buy them.
Sure they are.
Unfortunately, it's just going to harm the technicians in the long run because if everything Carl made just got copied 5 minutes later, Carl's not going to continue to make stuff. Why would he? It'd be stupid.
Doesn't make sense. Just go fix dents instead.
And Carl has a lot of really cool ideas that he brings to market.
Yes.
And the same is true for everybody else. I think the only people that stand to really be able to compete on some level are the manufacturers who are literally making their own stuff.
Right.
It's the Kiko, A1, Dencraft, Ultra.
Yep.
They are manufacturers, and they could cut their margins and keep competing if they had to. Probably not with Temu prices.
Right.
But their quality will always be higher.
Yes.
That's the other thing I want people who are thinking about these cheap tools to think about, or just look closely. On the screen, they very much look like a clone.
Sure.
In hand, they are nothing close. And I know that because I buy the stuff on purpose.
Right. Well, you're a
Example,
tool guy. Like, I mean, a tool maker, tool manufacturer.
Yeah, specifically plastic injection molded tools, which is Chinese forte.
Right.
But they knocked off Kiko's RoboLifter.
Yep.
It's almost identical, but if you want to tell the difference, you look at the legs. The legs are backwards on the knockoff.
Huh.
They have the way the ball and socket fits is backwards.
Okay. Huh.
So that's one way you can spot them. You talked about Jonathan Van Fontaine earlier. He has that beautiful tip that he designed that Kiko makes.
Oh, the tip is awesome.
It's a must-have tool.
Yes.
I learned from Bryce. That's the tool that he uses to do folded over seams. And that's how he gets them so clean. There's no other tool that you can do that with.
Nice.
And not overstrike and hit next to the seam and make a dent.
Right. Huh.
Temu makes a version of it for like $5. It looks the same
On the screen.
When you get it in person, you'll see that the radius is very calculated for the proper tool. The radius is not properly calculated for theirs, and it will just make little dents.
Oh, yeah, just a mess.
It's like too spherical.
Huh.
Right? So you can't see that from screen. You don't know that. If you're a new guy and you thought, oh, I'm just going to buy this one, it's cheaper, and then your repairs suck. There's a reason why you're using inferior tools. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you're trying to get into dents and you're a car guy, it's the difference between a Sonata and a Civic.
Right.
They look similar. They are not the same.
No.
They're not engineered the same.
Right.
The quality is not the same.
That's a great analogy.
So they both will drive you down the street, but one's going to break a lot sooner than the other one.
Yeah.
So that stuff's not going away. Just need to educate people on what it is. And I mean, I have one tool in my shop that is from one of those Chinese websites that's actually really good. And I've never seen another version of it.
Huh.
So I'm like, did they actually invent something? But my gut is that they knocked off somebody from another country that I'm not aware of.
Right. You just haven't.
It works too good.
It's not in English yet, so.
Yeah, it's a door jammer.
Okay.
And it's great.
Huh.
And it's like $15. And I'm like, this is too good.
Huh.
You guys did not get this idea.
Maybe the end game, Keith, is to buy those in bulk and rebrand them and sell them here.
There's probably something to that. I mean, that's business in every Harbor Freight and every Walmart.
Right. Yeah, Harbor Freight's doing just fine.
Yeah, to be clear, I have nothing against China. Some of my parts come from China. It's just China's a country. It's not a person.
Yeah.
And there's unscrupulous players there that will knock people off, and there's like legit manufacturers that make stuff.
Sure. Yeah, it's just the knockoff is the problem. Like the straight up copy knockoff. If they were changing, innovate, like I wouldn't have any problem with that. But these companies pop up just to do that, and then our market is so small that typically international patent or something that could be battled doesn't make sense, or you would spend so much money defending it that
they don't care anyways.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing had Stucky's name on it, and Stucky has his legal.
Yeah, he's trademarked and everything. Yeah, for sure. So Keith, the Black Plague tabs were certainly not your only innovation. The next up, right, was your Smooth Series tabs, the gray one that was exactly concrete pavement color. Strategically.
That's true. Yeah. So also to be transparent, the Blem tabs we mentioned earlier were smooth.
They were,
but they weren't flat. So if for you YouTube historians, you can go way back to an 11-year-old video of me in my kitchen showing why smooth flat tabs were better than textured.
Is that still on your channel somewhere, Keith?
Yeah, you can.
What channel is that going to be on? Because we'll find it and put it in the show notes. On
If you just search, as my kids would say, search up.
Okay.
Black Plague Smooth Series tab demo or something like that.
Okay, we'll have to look it up and see if we can add that to the show notes.
Yeah. So Gene and I were talking before the show about why are some tools the way they are, and when I was looking at glue tabs from a technician's perspective, and then I was looking at them from a tool maker's perspective, I thought, why do all these tabs have these different textures on the inside? There's checkers and swirls and little T's. And I'm like, I don't know. Like, I get the idea that it's extra surface area, but if you ever clean those tabs, they're awful. You never get them fully cleaned.
Oh no, down in all the little nooks and crannies, forget about it.
Right, you'd have to like soak it and then dry it, because the stuff you're soaking it in is what takes glue off, and you need it to be completely clean before you re-glue it. So I thought, if these are offering any kind of advantage, they're offering just as many disadvantages.
Right.
And then I thought about in school, when you use a microscope and you put one drop of water between two pieces of glass, how much the surface tension alone will hold those pieces of glass together. And there's very little of it in there. And I thought, I think the surface needs to be perfectly smooth. And I think the glue will make up the difference in the dent. Because the other belief that we had that was untrue was how deep the dents actually are. We thought they were like half an inch deep.
Oh, dude, the depth gauge was a game changer. Yeah.
I mean, I guess you could call that an innovation. None of my innovations seemed like, to me, like I was changing the world. Just like necessary things that should have happened, and I just made sure they happened on my watch. But like, we didn't know how deep of a dent we could fix. Nobody did.
1.49 on regular steel.
Well, you'd just look at one and you go like, "Whew, that looks deep."
Yeah.
And then you're like, "Oh, that wasn't deep at all. It came out great." Next one, you're like, "Man, that looks deep." And then you're there for 3 hours in oil cans and you're smoked.
Right. Yeah.
And it was the worst feeling. So I was like, I really need to know why one is coming out and why one isn't.
Yeah.
So created the depth gauge to measure them. Now, I don't know how many years that thing's been out, 7. And now all of us have had one at some point. It's not something you use every day, but you gain a knowledge and you go, okay, about 1.5 and under, I think I can fix with a tool. Anything over that, I'm probably going to have to shrink it.
Yeah. Well, and I will say that some of these new metals, I don't know, high strength steel, just garbage, thin steel, 1.5 is off the table now.
Yeah.
At least for this dent guy. Yeah. I had a Honda hood, I don't know, 2 months ago. Measured it. I'm like, oh no, dude, we're not going to have to shrink. This is going to be great. And then like 6 hours later, I'm like, yeah, you can pick your car up tomorrow. I've got this shrinky box on it. Yeah. I ran to Lowe's to get some grounding wire, Shane's old trick to get up through a brace to be able to do it. And yeah, it was brutal. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we're like, depth gauge is another innovation in the space. And again, not game changer per se, but another great tool. It's a step in
our march.
Yes.
So I came out with these flat, smooth tabs, and they worked amazing. And we just kept iterating on that same concept and came out with a bunch of different sizes. And it's still, we play a game where we pick a city in the United States, and then we pick a dent company, and then we look at their Google map listing, and then we look at the photos, and we try to find a tool cart. And 7 out of 10 times, I'll find some bright green tabs hanging out on that tool cart.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
It's kind of fun. So at one point, the gangrene tabs were definitely innovative.
Right.
And now they're just kind of the standard.
Yes.
It's not very exciting. People come to the trade show when I have them there, and they go, "These are awesome. Got them all."
Yeah, and they last. They don't. You know what I mean? I'm not. I'm definitely not one to jump on the breaking tabs bandwagon. Like, you make a lot of money with the tabs. Get over it. But, dude, the gangrene tabs don't break. Mm-mm. Like, they're just you'll run it over. You'll forget it. It'll fall in a car and it'll go into the abyss. But they don't break.
Yeah, there's a few people that can break them, and I'm like, you actually need to teach me your glue pulling techniques because I've never been able to break
Well,
one of these
I
things. I'm trying to
remember,
break them.
I think it was when you were coming out with the crease tabs, or not was it the crease? It was what did you call when you added the like rectangle shapes? Were those crease tabs?
Crease tabs, yeah, I call them crease tabs.
So you sent me some, and you're like, dude, we're getting ready to go to production. Abuse these, try to break them. And I'm like, okay. And I broke one, but dude, I might have been like literally swinging from a rafter. And I'm like, Keith, I broke one. And I think you called, you're like, dude, what happened? Like, we're literally going to production tomorrow. If these are bad, I got to know now. And I'm like, I was like swinging from a rafter, dude, but you said to break one, and that's what it took. And you were like,
Oh yeah, you didn't even glue it, like you hooked it between. Pieces of metal.
I think I screwed it into this rafter. But like your request was to test this and break it, and that's what it took to break it. So no, those tabs are fantastic. But you didn't figure any planned obsolescence.
A lot of hail guys like to use that 26 or 32 millimeter crease tab on a stubborn edge.
Dude, that's a great tab. That's a really great tab. In fact, Kiko added one just like that in their blue material to the L2E system because it's such a great performing tab.
It's kind of the great little balance.
Yeah.
So I had, after that and after tab weld, kind of just been sitting on my hands a little bit with regards to innovation at Black Plague. We came out with tension straps because I saw lateral tension started to become a necessity for large dent repairs. That's been a big innovation for me. And to be fair, the first place I saw lateral tension was a Chinese dent repair video.
Okay. Before you're not going back to Marty. Marty wasn't in your head with that?
Mm-mm. Marty had shown his version, but I didn't see it.
Okay.
I watched the video, but I didn't see it.
Yep.
Because the demo wasn't the right demo for me.
Okay.
To understand it. It's kind of like when your dad told you why you shouldn't do something, and then 20 years later you're like, "Hey, Dad,
I figured it out."
I didn't listen.
Yeah.
When you told me.
I got you.
Marty showed it, but I wasn't like ready to listen to it.
Right.
Because the demo that he picked was like a super mellow demo, and I didn't get it. Same thing with cold glue. When people first started showing it, I'm like, why would you use that?
Yeah.
Everything you're showing me, I could do with regular glue.
Right.
I don't understand. I just want to save a minute or two, but then I got to have another couple $100 worth of tools. Like I didn't get it.
Right. You get it now.
I'm a slow adopter.
Yeah. Yeah. I can understand.
But once
that.
I saw a more impressive demo, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. The straps, in my opinion, the straps are the safest way to apply lateral tension, as long as, because I saw this, I'm not going to name names, a buddy of mine who will probably listen to this, you cannot break the plane of the panel. Do not go off of perfectly parallel with the panel, like down to the ground. It doesn't work that way. But as long as you were...
What do you mean?
So right, you got your panel, you got your strap, and you should pull this way.
Yeah.
He pulled this way.
Oh.
Like down, like he was trying to bend it back up, and not a good idea. Right?
Yeah, you'll bend it.
Yes, you will definitely bend it. But if you are pulling on plane, if you were pulling straight across the panel that you're trying to re-stretch, I still don't believe that I have created any collateral damage using straps.
No.
Like you just, again, as long as you don't bend the panels, as long as you don't go below the surface of the panel and pull against the direction you're trying to pull, I've never created collateral damage with straps.
So my first prototype was blocks, Gene.
Okay. Blocks will definitely.
Big, giant plastic blocks with like ball joints inside and a big threaded rod that went through.
Okay.
And you would, the blocks would articulate on the ball joint, so you could put them however you wanted on the panel and then drive this bolt to spread them apart. And it spread the panel, but it also put so much power back into the sheet metal on the edges of these blocks.
Yep.
That and it lifted the block like a glue tab,
Yeah.
right? Because like the blocks were, a couple inches high, so it's pushing off the top corner and driving the bottom corner in.
Yeah, it's creating all kinds of dive. Like that's the problem with a
Tons.
lot of
And then even if
is
you
that.
stop short from that happening, now to get this, 16 square inch block off the car was like a job by itself. Sometimes it's half an hour
Right.
trying to get this thing off, and you're doing dumb things like prying it or hitting it with hammers. Like this was not the way. But why did I figure that out? Because I also use the tools.
Right.
And I think that's what comes down to like the basis of PDR tool innovation. The people doing the engineering, do they use the tools?
Right.
Are they capable of using them to the highest level? And not necessarily like, are they the best technician in the world, but can they use them over and over in 25 different scenarios enough so that they can say, oh, this actually doesn't work in this scenario. This is a bad design. It looks great on paper, but when you use it, you realize it's actually not ideal.
That's one of the things I like about testing new products that are coming out is I get to, and I feel like I'm not the best technician. Like I can do smashes, but I will never be to the level of Bryce, like, or really even close. But I have a good enough technical understanding and use, especially on the glue side of things, glue all the time, right? That I can put a lot of thought into it. And having done so many body shop trainings for Kiko over the years, I really feel like I got a big peek into really large metal movement that we would never do in the PDR space because these are literal collisions. But learning on the large side and being able to bring it back to PDR and apply it to smashes it has been a big skill build for myself. And that's part of what I try to bring to the industry when I'm teaching and talking about this stuff is, I'm pulling a lot of it out of the body shop space and out of my innovation and nerding out over glue pool stuff for so many years. Yep.
So when you have, and no disrespect to the tool companies who make tools that don't use them. I love them, and they work their hardest to make stuff for us to make our lives better. So this is coming from a place of love. But it's hard to make something that you don't use personally, that you don't have the ability to use. And you can understand the concept, but even me, I know what I'm doing, and I know the tool I want. I'll make a prototype. I'll use it. Like, nope.
Right.
It was great on paper,
right?
But I didn't think about this, and this. Okay, so it's either scrap the design completely because it's too far off, or make a change, try it again. So that's the stuff that makes it out of my head onto paper and then into a product. And then when it finally gets on your radar, it's already been run through the ringer through me, and I know it works and it's better. So straps, that's why they're here. I did blocks, I did tabs, I bought all the stuff that everyone else bought. And I'm like, this isn't the way. Lateral tension is the way.
Yes.
This isn't the way to apply it.
Yep.
It's just not. Straps, I haven't found anything that's better because I can apply all the power I need. It comes off super fast. It doesn't leave any collateral damage when you do pull it. You can't really over pull it. And they're not expensive.
Right.
So I'm like, this is it until I see something else.
And I don't think you can wear them out.
Straps.
Has anybody wore one of your straps out yet? I don't think they do wear out.
I mean, we've got some in the shop that are pretty damn full of glue because you get tired of taking them off. You just add more on top.
Right.
So,
but it's also cheap enough to just buy a new set of straps.
They're so inexpensive. Yeah, you can just replace them.
Yeah.
So one of the things that we're looking for is where can we use straps more and what way can we use straps differently. So you and I are both holding some of the same prototypes.
Yes.
Well, these are in production now. Yeah. So these are edge straps.
Yes.
So I should have brought a Kiko adapter, but inside of this loop is a stainless steel rod.
Yep.
And this rod mimics the size of a traditional glue tab. So you can slide a Kiko adapter or probably any other adapter that's meant for glue pulling over the top of this tab. and you can pull it with whatever you want to pull it with a U-bolt and a ratchet or a frame machine, or even maybe a slide hammer adapter on that Kiko adapter, and you can just pull that.
Dude, slide hammer
but
with this, that makes my shoulder hurt just thinking about it.
Yeah, it's probably
So-
not how I would do it, but you could.
So I've got a little bit of residue on this one. Again, I got these in the mail from Keith last week. I was doing a big pull to paint on a quarter panel. Actually, for my front office girl, she has her grandma's car. Grandma passed away. She has the car that she drives in the winter now, parks her Mustang. And it's a 28,000 mile, like 06 Hyundai Accent. Like the car's not worth anything, but it is super clean. Like you could appreciate the cleanliness of the car. Over Christmas break, she went to a Christmas party at a friend's house, and the neighbor backs in and just smashes the quarter panel. Like she texted me sick, like, "Hey, this is no good." And I'm like, "They're going to total your car." And then she was really upset. So we come back to work after the break, and I looked, and I'm like, I can get this close enough for a body shop. And I've got a good body shop we work with. Anyways, in that, I spent a couple evenings like picking away at it. And these came in, and I needed like one last heavy pull down where the quarter returns to the bumper right up near the wheel well. I had my perfect pull set up from Mark Jackson, so a pretty heavy-duty pull tower. And on there, I've got a worm drive winch that runs off of an impact. So, dude, I glued this to that edge right underneath where the bumper returns and then up onto the face. And that was exactly what I needed. I needed that pull to relieve some stress. I pulled so hard with just this one strap. Now, it's a little car, and it's the back, not the front. I started sliding the car across the floor with just one tab. Yes. Nice. Dude, that is a bite. And then when I went to take it off, it was still work to get it off. Like it wasn't like it was barely hanging on. It gave me everything it had. So these new edge straps, again, I'm a strap fan. These are awesome. I wish I had these when I did Mac, my son's car last spring. He caught a telephone pole and crunched a quarter. I think I showed you the Anson straps where we went into the jam. I wish I had more bite. These would have been perfect to wrap into the jam. And that's another advantage of these straps is like this one, you can go on two planes. This one, you could go into a jam and match the shape of the jam and go way far in there to pull and get that structure back out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can. And to be honest, I haven't had a chance to try it yet, but I believe on the right kind of panel, you can put this on a body line.
I bet you could. Because
walk that body, that section out. This is never going to be sharp enough to pull the body line straight up, but you can walk that section up. Because sometimes if you have a big crush like that, you put a crease tab on that body line, that's too much too soon.
Yep.
You can't pull. It's too small of an area. You're going to over pull the body line and make more of a mess. You really want the structure out close and then to finish the body line. And I think this would be great for that.
So I bet you are absolutely right because these really remind me of like the Kiko hinge tab, right? Two planes.
Yeah, that's a great design.
So I have used the hinge tab on body lines and on creases for that exact reason. You're not ready to pull that hard line, but you need to get a move up. Oh, I can't wait to try this on a body line, dude. That's why I like talking and nerding out about this stuff. I'm not gonna go jump on a door just to prove it. But
we have another version of this. It's not gonna make MTE, but imagine this piece, Gene, is cut short just at the stitching.
Okay.
And then this piece is like 3 or 4 times longer.
Oh, nice.
So just a big flap.
Yep.
And that would be like if you want to apply lateral tension on a large format off the panel to something else, to a truck or a pole or whatever.
I probably could have used that on that one I did this for the other day because we had to go forward. I went to the B pillar. We took the rear door off the car and strapped around the B pillar, and I couldn't grab anything quite big enough. That would have been perfect for that.
Yeah. This is off topic a little bit, but I'll tell you this is kind of like a little tip I just figured out. Have you ever seen a slide hammer that's hooked to the back of vice grips?
No.
It's really kick-ass tool.
Huh.
The first time I ever saw it, it was marketed for pulling nails out of a wall without prying on the wall.
Huh.
So I'm like, that's a
Yeah.
pretty cool idea.
That is kind of a cool idea.
Yeah. But now there's a heavier duty version of it on Amazon, and it's like under $50.
Oh, wow.
And you can clamp the vice grip, and then you have this slide hammer off the back of where the adjustment bolt is.
Right.
So you can take the whole shaft from the slide hammer and use it like a breaker bar and really crank the vice grip down.
Okay.
So it's like welded on. And I had a car. What was this? A Subaru Crosstrek. It was a salvaged Crosstrek that this guy brought to me, and among other things I was fixing, the back door was too far back, and it was actually the interior trim was hitting the weather stripping when you shut the door. So you could shut it, but you had to jam it shut.
Right.
And the gap was all closed up from the door to the quarter.
Right.
So I loosened. I'm like, I'll adjust your door for you. So I loosened the hinges, and I like pull the door back and tighten them, and pull the door back and tighten them, and it doesn't change at all.
Huh.
I know this is the way it needs to go, but this technique didn't work. So I grabbed this tool that I hadn't yet used, loosened the hinges, clamped it on the top hinge, and just slide hammer the front forward, moved it like 1/8 of an inch, and then same thing on the bottom. Adjusted the door beautifully for this $45 tool.
That's awesome.
That's a must-have if you're doing any kind of stuff like that.
We somehow end up getting talked into that kind of stuff regularly enough. So I'm going to have to go on Amazon and find them.
Smashes you're doing, it comes with stuff like that, like the fender's off, the fender's pushed back and the door's off.
Yeah.
It happens.
Huh.
It's not, I actually think we as PDR techs can learn a lot about panel adjustment from the body guys.
Yes. Yeah. Oh yeah, those body guys, man, they've got all those little tricks. Mm-hmm. I can't remember exactly how the trick goes, but there's something you can do with a big pry bar and a hinge, and you like close the door on the pry bar, and that will reset the hinge somehow. Dan or Kiki walked me through it, and I bought a big pry bar from Harbor Freight, not Blue Point, and and it's still in the box today for that. And the next time I run into that, I'll just call Dan and be like, "Hey, what's that trick with the hinges?"
What do you do again?
He was a big heavy hit body man before PDR, so yeah.
So this is a little bit of an innovation. Like none of it is like going to change the world, but they're all this little additions to the arsenal to help you do dents. So this tab, same. You can go on either side of a panel. Like you want to go pull the edge of a door, you can sandwich it and just pull the whole edge of the door away. Yep.
You also can, again, so this reminds me of like a large size of the Anson straps. You can do glue on multiple sides of the straps. So if you're worried about clean off, you're getting a lot of residue and you're sweating it. So you've got 4 faces on this strap that you can pull with also.
Oh, just using one at a time.
Yep, exactly.
That's interesting.
Yes.
So that's what the straps are what I believe is the proper way to apply lateral tension.
I agree.
Then the next step was, okay, what are we spreading them with?
Yeah.
And everyone that I know is using a porta-power or ratchet straps to the outside. I personally don't love ratchet straps because I don't like the adjustability between the ratchets.
Or the lack thereof. Right. Sometimes it's too much.
The lack of it, I should say. So porta-power it is, but how to hook it in the straps, always kind of wonky. If you hooked it directly in the straps, it was like coming right over the center of your dent.
Yep.
So obscuring your dent. And I just didn't like it. So I was working, but not diligently, on creating a system to apply lateral tension that didn't require the porta-power and didn't require and hit all my marks, which is quick to set up, quick to adjust, super powerful, and doesn't cover the center of my dent and doesn't come in contact with the car.
Jeez, Keith, you just want it all.
I want it all because I'm a tech. I want to use it.
Right.
So I bought the stuff that was on the market, and it did some of these things, but not all of these things. And the nature, when you use a lateral tension, a fixed setup that's straight, and you start trying to use it on cars, you realize how few cars have a straight panel on them.
Our Jeep Wranglers.
They're all curved to some, like maybe an F-150 door is straight front to back. Maybe. And a couple other cars, but most of them have some kind of organic shape. So the things, especially a fender and a quarter panel. So anything that was fixed straight, one side was working, the other side wasn't. They were never pulling evenly. So I came up with a prototype, and I was just using that as a technician and trying to find somebody to make a version of it for me. And it was really tough because I don't have a machine shop behind me. I'm not a full manufacturer like a tool company with 15 CNC machines and a bunch of grinders. So I wasn't able to make it. And A1 made me a prototype in a small production run that worked really great, but they were so busy. It was like a record hail season. They weren't able to make more of them, and their cost was really high.
Was that the one that was at MTE last year? That was the one that was at MTE last year?
No. Yes,
okay.
It was.
Okay.
It was. Their cost was just super high, and not because they were trying to take advantage, it's just because that's what their costs are. They were high, and I was like, oh man, I really want to be able to sell it for less than that. But we weren't able to do that. And then on top of that, they just didn't have the capacity to make them for me because they were so busy with their stuff. So they did help with the march forward, but we weren't able to actually make the solution for it. So then I kind of went back to the drawing board. That one was steel tubes that kind of fit inside the porta power attachments and then fit inside the straps, and then a drive system. But we missed the mark on the drive system. It wasn't quite right, and the tubes were a little heavier than I wanted them to be. So clean sheet design, and I came up with a one-piece arm on either end of the tube to thread into the straps and spread them. Also too slow on the production. So I showed a couple versions, and then another version, I won't call it a knockoff version because it's not, but another version came out faster than I could get it out by somebody who makes their own stuff. And then another version came out. I personally think I've got the design right because I'm the one using it all the time, so I can tell you why it's right. So here I have the bare bones version of, I showed a video on Facebook, Gene, but this relatively simple aluminum arm just slides inside of the porta power attachments like so, right?
Yep.
And what looks like a straight piece of aluminum is not straight at all. This is a radius. And the reason it's like that is because imagine it's on a strap, right? And this side is the panel. When it's up against the panel on the strap, the radius is pulling it away from the car as much as possible, because I don't want anything touching the car, right? Because the car is precious to me. If I scratch a car during a repair, I lose.
Yes.
It's game over.
Exactly.
The production version of this is dipped in handle material here, so this part is safe. And it has a little thumb screw right here, because once in a while these will fit loose and they'll kind of flop themselves down on the shaft. So we can tighten that and just keep it fixed there so I can hold it out.
Just to snug it. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So by having this radius, when it's under tension, it actually lifts off the panel just about the same width or the thickness of the strap itself.
So a couple millimeters.
Yeah, a couple millimeters. But it's doing exactly what it's designed to do, which is just come up and out enough that it's doing its job. It's not pulling it off the car, but it's not driving anywhere close to into the car. It's coming up and away.
Right.
But if you drive it fully up and away, you're going to rip the tab off and it's not going to work. So there's that little window where you want it up and away, but also in the lateral direction. So that's what this does. It looks like a very simple organic design, but it's very much made on purpose to do its one job.
Right.
So the last piece we had was the hydraulics. Very powerful, but heavy. The case is huge. There's no room for it in my truck because I'm already full of tools. And it's crude and leaky. So I don't, I love the power, but I don't like anything else about it. I like the price point. They're $100.
Right. It's a whole lot of metal for $100.
It's amazing. I don't know how they sell it for $100, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I don't like, it's overkill for what we're doing. We don't need 2,000 or 4,000 pounds pressure. We need 400 to 800 probably.
Tops.
Yeah. So my system uses a bolt drive that has an adapter inside of the other arm, and it has its own extension tubes and a bolt drive. The camera's backwards. So the bolt drives
right
through here and just extends this porta power rod to make the straps extend. So it's as basic as it could get, still having all the power, but fewer of the components, and it all packs down to a small little roll-up case. Because really, you want to get it out, set it up quickly, get your initial tension pull, probably a half to a third of the way through the repair, the tension's off, and you finish it normally.
Right.
You don't need it on there for the whole process.
Yes.
So that's our kit that we've got coming out. The other thing we changed was, if you guys have done this, you notice that when you have a long run of these attachments, they start to bow. So we've attempted to reduce the bowing by increasing the length of the male section by half. That's designed after Shane and myself with the signature edition. So longer.
It needs to be longer. Is that's all?
Yeah, longer male section.
It
roughly
needs to be
twice the average.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, and that goes in the other tube and doesn't prevent, but it's going to reduce this bending, this bowing.
Yeah, if you
Right, 'cause
haven't if you haven't done that, you can actually get a pretty big bow, and it's almost like it looks a little scary, actually.
It is, and it's probably never going to come off because you'd have to bend it pretty far. But if you think about, like, if this thing was only that long, right?
Yeah.
How much would it take for this to bend off?
Not much.
Not much, right?
Yep.
So, okay, a little bit further is better. A little bit further is even better. Well, that means if you could insert it into the entire tube, that's the safest,
Right.
right? So that tells me that more insertion is safer than less. So that's why we doubled it, to just give it a better chance that if it bows, it's not going to blow out.
Yep. I like it.
We tested aluminum, Gene, because it's super light, not strong enough.
Super bendy. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we could overbuild it and make it super thick and strong, and it still would be lighter. But I know from our glue tab conversation that technicians will put these tools through the ringer,
Yes.
and I needed to make this thing bomb proof so that it couldn't fail no matter what. So it's all steel.
So
Heavier now, but it's all steel.
so when Timu knocks this off, it's going to be thinner. The male piece is going to be shorter. Like, don't get fooled with the Timo version of this. Do you have a name for this one yet?
You know, Gene, I don't have a name for it. I do like goofy names. There's a working name that is, I don't know if it's the official name, but we've been calling it the Spread Eagle.
There you go. I like it. I like it. Sounds more like an edgy tool, but maybe
It does, and that's why I don't think it's going to be the official name.
Maybe you could do a collab with Dave and Stacy. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, but I think it's just called a something lateral tension kit. I don't know the name of it. It seems silly, but we've been more concerned with the functionality of
Sure.
it versus the marketing of it.
Yep, I can appreciate that. So that's cool. If that's an improvement,
and they're on their way.
they'll make MTE. Should make MTE.
Yeah, they should make MTE.
Well, dude, I've got to say, if that's an improvement over what you had there last year, then it's going to be a great tool, because the one you had last year was pretty great build and setup. So excited to get my hands on one of these and check it out.
I somewhere somebody told me that Elon Musk, when he was like pushing innovation at his space company, it's like the best parts are no parts. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Easy.
Thing. So
Yes.
how many of these parts can I eliminate and still make this work?
Well, you're not a big gun guy, but that's part of what makes Glock so great is their pistols are like, they just work because there's less parts than anybody else. It's just as simple as possible. Simple is good.
So that's new for us. And then, again, as the tech using the tools, you know what you don't like about stuff.
Yes.
Well, I like shrinky boxes because they're a necessity. You can't fix an oil canner without one. At least I can. I don't know. Maybe somebody can.
Not me. Not me.
I don't know. I don't think it's possible. But now that I learned that it is possible, it's like you have to have one.
Right.
You have to have one.
It's a must.
But still, a lot of people don't have one for a couple reasons. One, they're not cheap. So it's hard to pay for it before you need it.
There we go. So I pulled for the video people. Right here's the new shrinky box from.
So I decided to come out with my own.
Yes.
So the shrinky box, we're able to bring it at a slightly more enticing price point. But the couple of things I didn't love about the current shrinky boxes was you only have one grounding method, which was a magnet. which is awesome on steel, kind of a pain on aluminum. So this one comes with a magnet and a clamp. So you can clamp
that's
onto
nice.
something aluminum. You see right there.
Yep.
So you have 2 different grounding options. And
That's
then
awesome.
oftentimes you're using the carbon rod that comes with it to energize the panel.
Yes.
But sometimes you're working in a brace or through a hole, like you mentioned Shane's trick. So this one comes with the carbon rods, but also a couple pieces of copper.
Huh. And then you have some sort of sleeve over the copper.
Yeah, it has an insulating sleeve on it so that you don't short it out on the way in there.
Nice.
And you got a little adapter there to put it into the wand, and you can add some length. There's a little coupler. You can go twice as long and put the second piece of copper in there.
Are you trying to compensate for something, Keith? You're making everything twice as long as it was.
Twice as long as everyone else. Shocking. The other thing I thought was frustrating about Shrinky boxes is, like, as a PDR tech, you don't have 80 grit sandpaper or a wire wheel generally on your truck.
Not usually.
So when it comes time to prep the back of the surface, you didn't have it. So we included several wire wheels in this one.
In the kit.
Lastly, you get it. Like, one of my guys had one and it was in a milk crate. I'm like, what? He's like, it doesn't come with a case. I'm like, okay, I can solve that. That's easy. So this one comes in a nice little carrying case.
Nice.
So it's one whole unit, comes in its little case, has all its components in there, and you just get it out when you need it. And it's priced aggressively
at $849 on sale, or $76.63 a month with shop pay.
4 interest-free installments.
I like it. Oh, there we go.
So there's 2 different settings on it. You can either set it to only be energized for a certain amount of time, or you can set it to every time you push the button, it stays hot as long as you hold it, according to a percentage of power.
Okay, so it is button driven. Yep, I was trying to navigate the website while we were talking. Good. That button driven that's a big deal. That makes
because you kind of want to, like,
easier.
take your time to find where it is behind the panel.
Yep.
And make sure you're comfortable where it is, and then give it a zap.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. I'll have the demo version. Well, it's an early production version at MTE. They're already made in a box on a boat, so they're heading over. But I think they're 3 weeks out from being in my warehouse.
Very cool.
So we'll probably do some kind of introductory special at MTE where you can get them super discounted if you're willing to wait for a couple of weeks for it to show up.
I like it. That's perfect.
So that's the stuff I can tell you about, Gene. There's like 2 or 3 other things I can't tell you about.
There's another one you can tell us about. We get this little stubby leg.
This
is the one that really, like,
one of my favorites.
It's just because, again, you're adding length to something that didn't have length. I'm seeing a pattern here.
So one thing Gene and I have in common is a love for glue pulling. And one of your early videos, Gene, big pulls with small tabs.
Yes, that's back to the denttrainer.com days.
We're going way back.
That is way back.
But you've learned, I've learned, and everyone who's paid attention doing small glue tab pulls has learned you have to be precise to get the most out of these small tabs.
Absolutely.
And one of those things you have to be is pulling perpendicular to the panel. You can't get any kind of an angle on that tab and pull it and get any kind of performance out of it.
That was when I taught Kiko all the time. That was one of my things, is like the straighter you pull, the stronger you pull. And I don't care whether you're glue pulling or stud welding or you're doing a clamp. The straighter you pull, the stronger you pull. And as soon as you're off of straight, you're introducing shear. And as soon as you introduce shear, like, you're losing your tab. And these feet make pulling with, in my mind, the most versatile mini lifter on the market, the Robo. This makes it even better. You can go check out the Auto Appearance Institute Instagram. I did a Model Y liftgate the other day with this, and it was set up something like 1 foot all the way in and the other foot almost all the way out. But what that did is it allowed me to come onto the back of the panel, right? And that Model Y is like this, like you're straight and then it goes straight back. I was able to get this and get a perfectly straight pull out below that body line. That's like such a simple little innovation. I'm sure Chris is kicking himself for not figuring it out and adding it to the system themselves.
Well, we did a sweetheart deal, and I think he'll be able to make them available, maybe even pre-installed on some of the robos going forward.
Oh, nice.
So you'll be able to get them at Kiko or at Black Plague.
That's cool. And installation is simple, right? Like pop your foot off, like you take your foot off, and inside of there is just a little tiny Phillips screw. This replaces the piece on your foot and gives it a little leg, right? Just reuse your screw and put it in there. It even has the positioning pin or whatever you would call that in there to line it right up. So a quick, simple 2-second swap it out, and you add a whole new layer of versatility to your robo lifter. And these are, where'd you come in at price point, Keith?
$49.95 for the two of them.
That's cheap. My advice to Keith was higher than that, but Keith's trying to save you guys money, so I like it.
I mean, listen, it needs to work as a product, but it doesn't need to be ridiculous.
Exactly. So I actually can't wait to install these on my feet for my K-beams and everything. You really run into positions, even more so than with the Robo. You run into a lot of positions where you're trying to make up an extra half an inch, 3/8 of an inch to go like below or go behind where the bumper is and up on a panel to get the thing square, to get that straight pull. These are going to be, again, it just adds a whole nother layer of usability to the whole Kiko ball and socket system. So good on you,
It
Keith.
kind of goes to the point we were making earlier, Gene. Like there is no part of a car that's straight.
Exactly. That's exactly
so
it.
When you put the beam on there, it's 3.5 feet long.
Yep.
It's not straight. You need adjustability in the feet.
Which is why, Kiko came out with larger or taller feet, right? They had the double stack to make up for some of this stuff. And this allows you to fine tune it more. There were a lot of times where we're grabbing the slappers and putting it under feet to make it fit. This more than makes up for that. How much throw do you have there, Keith? I'm sure you know the measurement.
To be honest with you, I don't know the measurement off the top of my head.
I mean, so if I go like 2 threads in, I mean, you're probably flirting with an inch. I don't know if
it's a lot. It's more than
really, it's a ton. Yeah. So these are one of those cool little small add-ons that'll make a big difference in your day. Yeah, good deal. So really cool, and cooler than they looked in the prototype video you sent me when you were like, hey, want to see something cool? I think getting them into my hand is even cooler than seeing them on a video.
Yeah, they're almost a fidget spinner when they're in your hand.
I've been fidget spinning with them the entire show. I probably have a blister from doing that. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, if they don't sell for the lifters, I'll sell them as fidget spinners.
Right. They'll sell for the lifters. Those are pretty innovative. I like it.
So lots of little neat gadgets and gizmos for Black Plague. So just trying to keep that glue train moving forward and make techs work easier and better.
Well, I'm excited to see you back in the game because you've sort of been quiet and it's like every time we get together and talk, you're like, hey, I'm working on this, but it's not ready. And I'm glad to see that this year you're sort of coming out guns blazing and you're bringing a handful of new things to market. So that's pretty cool.
Me too. I have shiny object syndrome in my business life. I get interested about everything and I want to do everything. But you can't do everything.
No.
You can try everything, but you can't do everything. So with Claim Connection being the beast that it is, it kind of sucked up a lot of bandwidth for me to like work on tools. But we kind of got systems nailed down there pretty well, so I was able to take the last couple months and just really grind on getting all these designs finalized and prototypes tested, and I think we're going to be in good shape next year.
That's cool, and I'm excited. So definitely. So in our last episode, the MTE must-dos, right? Black Plague had a good 3 or 4 minutes in there, but I didn't know about all these cool things, and we didn't get to talk innovations. So now we have a full show of just Black Plague. That's pretty great.
That's great.
Yeah.
It's great, and I appreciate all the people that have been longtime Black Plague customers, and I'll call them clients because we keep serving them as well as we can. And I'm sorry I didn't come up with a lot of this stuff earlier. I probably could have, but I'm glad we're coming out with it now. And I love all the other stuff that everyone else is coming out with. It's going to be a really great year at MTE. There's some cool stuff.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to see at MTE this year. Lots of innovation for sure. without a doubt.
Yeah.
So,
the one thing I can't talk about is probably the one I'm most excited about out of everything.
but it's not going to make MTE?
No, it's not. I started a little too late, and this one takes too many iterations of
Well, that's all right. We'll be excited to talk about it when it is real, when it is live.
You will be in the testing group once it gets to the point where it has to be tested by the Superman of the universe.
I don't know about that, but I can make plastic stick to a car with hot glue. So.
Like crazy.
Yes. So what else do we have going on, right? Of course, MTE is next week. I don't know when you guys will drop this episode. This will drop on Monday for us, right? So Monday, I will be leaving for MTE tomorrow on Monday when you get to listen to this on our show, and heading down and talking, the beginners group on Wednesday, and then we have a big glue pull talk on Thursday, and this tab will definitely make an appearance in that talk. And then we have the shop owners roundtable, so we'll be there. But what's going on after MTE, Keith? What do you have on the horizon for PDR College and everything like that?
Yeah, we just finalized in the last couple of weeks the rough date and solid date and location, but rough lineup for the Advanced Skills Seminar 2025.
Nice.
We're pretty pumped about it. The feedback from last year as far as timing goes was, I really want to go. It's in the middle of the hail season. There's no way I'm walking away from all this hail work, so I'm not coming.
Sure.
Okay. Noted. From a guy who lives in California, I always kind of forget about hail season. It's kind of a big deal. You might have $1 million or $2 million of work sitting in front of you. I wouldn't leave either. So we put it way back in the year. We're now doing it October.
Nice.
First weekend in October, 9th through the 12th. And where to do it was the next question. We've done it in California. We've done it in Florida. We've done it in Georgia. We haven't done it in Texas yet.
Texas is a big state.
This year, in Texas, at Anson, in October. So
nice.
Thanks to Christina and Craig for giving us a home to do it and a place filled with the Candyland of PDR tools. So technicians that come out for the Advanced Skills Seminar will have the opportunity to shop and see everything that's available there in person, in hand, before you actually buy it, that's the hard part about PDR tools. It's hard to see them on a screen. You got to hold them.
Right. Touch them.
And if you haven't been to Anson, it's pretty amazing how many tools they have there hanging on the walls for you to fool with.
It really is like Candyland. And I personally have held several events at Anson. We've done 20 group meetings and a couple glue pull repair classes there. It's a great space to learn or to be able to teach, to host in. So yeah, I think it's going to be an awesome venue for the class.
Yep, and proud to announce that Gene you're going to be there running audio and video for us.
Yes, we are. Yes.
And this year we are working on a plan to be able to have a video version of the seminar available after the seminar.
Yes. So if you can't make it, or if you are making it and want to go back and listen to all that knowledge that gets dropped there, it's going to be available.
Yeah, there's talk of a possible streaming of the seminar. We are yet to make a decision on that because it's quite a big undertaking.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I don't know if we're ready for that lift, but there's talk happening. So
yeah,
no guarantees there, but there is a guarantee that we're going to do it. Of course, Bryce Kelly is going to be the headlining technician because the guy just freaking keeps getting better, Gene.
Dude, that repair he had the other day, that one that got shipped from Texas Acura, with the crisscross tension to start.
Good night,
dude. I mean, he put the seam back together on the quarter panel. Like, come on, Bryce. What are you doing?
I felt the body guys getting so upset about that.
Oh, I'm sure they were all kinds of salty. No doubt.
Structural integrity is gone. Your family's going to die.
Yeah. I think you're going to be okay.
Yeah, I think you're probably going to be fine.
Yeah.
Thing is, it just had friggin' caulking in there in the first place, bro.
Right. And he reapplied caulking. Yeah, but Bryce is just an absolute stud. And he teaches well. I've been to 3 or 4 advanced skills, maybe 5, where Bryce teaches. And I literally learn every time I go.
I do too. And then, I hate to say it, but sometimes, like that analogy I was given earlier about, talking to your dad, I need to be taught a couple of times.
Right.
Before I learn sometimes. I wish you could just tell me once and I got it. And for some things, that's true. But sometimes I need to see it a couple times.
Right.
And I really need to soak it in before I'm ready to hear it, really understand the message.
Yeah.
It's like some Zen master stuff, after your 12th year as a Buddhist, you really understand.
Right.
You're
it's
just
not
starting your journey.
Yeah, right. 12 years in.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah. Anybody else on the docket for sure?
Nobody for sure.
Okay.
I don't want to get in trouble.
No, of course not. Of course
let
not.
anybody down again. I am scouring the ends of the earth for people who are very hard to get to the United States and attempting to get them here. But I have a very poor track record of pulling this off.
Well, hey, like the 8th time is the charm, right?
Man, I am working on it because that's what I want to happen. But, there's some decisions that are just out of my hands. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But for sure it's Bryce, and for sure it'll be a handful of other people that you're going to learn something from. I mean, quite honestly, you could just listen to Bryce and let him teach you for 4 days, and it would be money well spent.
That's very true.
He is not a one-trick pony. The guy has a solution for every. That's a thing about Bryce, is he tackles so many different weird things, and he figures his way out through all of them.
And he's so aware of what's going on in the panel. You know what I mean? Like looking for the hidden, trapped energy. And I know that's a big thing that he teaches in his one-on-one trainings. And you get to see it live and work through it in person at these events. So, yeah, that's, as an attendee of the Advanced Skills Seminar, highly recommend.
Yeah, so that's exciting. The fact that it's going to be at Anson is a pretty big deal. We're excited about that. So there is no site up or anything yet. There's nothing. You won't find anything on it.
But you can mark your calendars so you don't have the excuse of, but I was going. Nope, it's still January, so we're almost just under 9 months away.
We will have an iPad hanging out at the Black Plague booth and the Claim Connection booth where you can pre-register, meaning just kind of claim your spot with your name and email. So you'll be the first one to get an invite when we open it.
Nice.
So no cost involved there yet, but if you just want to put your name and email on a list so that you'll be first to know when the tickets become available, you can do that.
I like it.
We'll have that together by MTE, but still building the whole lineup and the schedule.
I like it. That's I'm excited. I'm excited to be a part of it.
Smashing up cars. But yeah, last year we did a lot more hands-on than we have in the past.
How was that received?
And it was very well received.
Good. I'm a hands-on guy. I love hands-on learning and teaching. I am
to some degree, but to be honest, I was a little bit hesitant to do that because I was worried that not enough people would get enough hands-on because we can't do 100 panels.
Sure.
It's just too much.
Right.
But we broke up into groups and it worked out. Some people really wanted to hold tools a lot, and other people didn't really care so much. So it worked out that the people who really wanted a lot of hands-on time got it, and the people who didn't need it.
Nice.
But overall, having 5 or 6 different looks at different kinds of damage and having Bryce explain on each one what should be done, and then frankly seeing the result of it done right and sometimes done wrong was very valuable as well.
I like it.
So looking to do more of that this year.
Cool.
So it's going to be a big year.
Very cool. Yep. And again, Anson is a great place for these kind of events. And the hands-on with the tools, like to get to shop around and see it in play is killer. So I'm excited for that. And thanks for the opportunity to be the AV provider for it. And we're super stoked for this opportunity. Yep. Well,
Gene, thank you for inviting me on just to talk about myself.
Well, it's good. I'm glad you got to come on and talk about it, and you've got some cool tools, and I got to get a sneak peek ahead of the curve for some of these tools as well. So, thank you for coming on, and thanks for sending these tools out to let me play with and check out and sort of put through the ringers, and I will continue to test them for you
Yeah, the Robo Legs, you can find them right now on Black Plague PDR if you want, on blackplaguepdr.com. The Shrinky Box will be available for pre-sale. It's listing is sold out when I record this, but by the time you hear it, it'll be available for pre-sale on the website, as well as at MTE. And then the Edge straps, they are not yet on there.
We were looking for them the other day, putting our presentation together for MTE, and they weren't on there.
That's get photographed and put on there. So I'll speed up that process so that when you hear this and you go looking for them, they're on there as well.
Yeah, great straps for sure. Nice little simple innovation, but sometimes simplest is bestest.
All right, guys. Thanks for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Until next time.
Get better.
All right, guys, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the show. Again, it's one of our vintage shows from back in our Institute channel days. Ignore whatever I told you about following the Auto Appearance Institute. All I need you to do is on any of your social channels, follow us at Dent Repair Now. Or if you want to get in touch or learn anything about the Institute, it just lives now on Dent Repair Now. Just go to dentrepairnow.com/institute. And you should be able to find anything you need. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode.